Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dolor, and I'm sitting in for Calix George Jr. As always, I start off the show by letting you know the four principles that guide my discussion, that I suppose guide my thinking and guide my discourse, so that you know when you start speaking with me, these are what principles I will be using to foster the exchange, to continue the exchange between us. Number one, nothing is absolute. Number two, reality is composed by the individual. Number three, cultural influences, more often than not, determine our actions and our reactions. Number four, the supernatural does not exist. As is customary, at this time, I will share with you some of the important events that happened on this day, 25th of February, in history. We learn that in history, we understand that let me get the right date, in 1795, French politician and educator Joseph Lacanal defined on behalf of the French Revolution an educational utopia. Utopia meaning that everything is going well and perfect, and that description was based or aimed to put an end to inequalities of development that affected a citizen's capacity for judgment. So we see that as early as 1795, it was recognized that it was education that would help put an end to the inequalities of development. So that is so when we hear about the need for education to level the playing field, we understand that this is nothing new. On this date in 1836, Samuel Colt patented the first multi-shot revolving cylinder revolver, enabling the firearm to be fired multiple times without reloading. In 1870, Hiram Revels is sworn as first African American member of Congress as U.S. Senator from Mississippi. In 1907, the U.S. proclaims protectorate over Dominican Republic. Now, let me repeat that. In 1907, the U.S. proclaims protectorate over Dominican Republic. In 1924, Mary Boyd scored 156 points in Maryland versus HS in a basketball game. The game ended with a score of 163 to 3. Can you imagine one person scored 156 points in a basketball game? In 1932, Austrian immigrant Adolf Hitler gets German citizenship. Yes, Adolf Hitler was not a German by birth. He was actually an Austrian immigrant. In 1964, Muhammad Ali, he was then known as Cassius Clay, wins his first world heavyweight boxing title when Sonny Liston failed to come out of for round 7 at the convention center in Miami Beach. You will know, for those of you who remember these things, that Muhammad Ali went on to lose the title twice and to get it back on 2 occasions. In 1993, Pakistan were all out for 43 runs versus the West Indies in a World One-Day International record low. By the way, that score of 43 runs in a one day, as the lowest score that has been since eclipsed by Zimbabwe and United States, who both scored 35 runs, of course, in different matches. In 1996, Regindra Danraj took 16 wickets for 167 runs in a match for Trinidad. He took those wickets for Trinidad in a match against the Leeward Islands. Just for the record, we need to note that in test matches, the record stands at 19 wickets. In other words, one person took 19 wickets, and that was achieved by Jim Laker of England against Australia in 1956 at Old Trafford. Laker took 9 for 37 in the first innings and took all 10 wickets for 53 runs in the second innings. What a performance. And in 1998, Switzerland had its first legal brothel, which opened in Zurich. You've just heard some very interesting facts and events that occurred on the 25th of February. We now move on to our daily dish, which will be in a little while.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
The United Workers' Party has accused some artists of being bought by the government.
But I am seeing a new development in St. Lucia Calypso. And I am an ardent Calypso fan from time, so I have the legitimacy to speak on this one. Let me just say this to our Calypsonians, especially the more seasoned veteran Calypsonians like Herb Black and Invader. You all are doing a disservice to the art form. Calypsonians sing against governments. Calypsonians sing on behalf of the people. Calypsonians express the sentiments and feelings of the people.
Hilaire defended the Calypsonians and offered advice on handling public scrutiny. He dismissed claims that Calypsonians should be attacking the government instead of suggesting they focus elsewhere.
I mean, how do you say to Calypsonians or any musician for that matter that they should be attacking the government? Well, they should probably be attacking the opposition for their total incompetence and ineffectiveness. I have taken blows from Calypsos. I smile at it. I'm in the tent and everybody, point that I'm there. And I smile at it. I laugh at it. I've been going to Calypso tents from being a teenager and follow Calypso for all the years. And Calypso the tent is what it is. I mean, it just tells you the desperation when you're going to attack Calypsonians for not attacking the government. Let the Calypsonians sing.
This has been the Daily Dish.
Yes, so you heard the clip where Mr. Montoot indicated that the role of Calypsonians is to attack government. I tell you. Well, as you can imagine, the show today will look at Calypso and how it affects the society, and in particular, how Calypsos in St. Lucia has been used to speak about and to showcase what is happening in our society. Partly because we are going to be talking about Calypso, I want to highlight two gentlemen who received awards during the independence celebrations. And this would be Mr. Philip Zephyrin Calix, who got an award for long and meritorious service in the field of arts, in particular music, Calypso. I also want to recognize Mr. Pancras Theodore, who also received an award during the independence celebrations. His was for long and meritorious service in the field of education and community development. One may ask, well, who was this Pancras Griffin Theodore? Well, he was well known with his sobriquet being Mighty Terror. And he won the St. Lucia National Calypso competition 7 times. So he would have contributed significantly to the rise of Calypso in St. Lucia. So all congratulations to these 2 gentlemen for having been recognized and for being awarded during our recent, our continuing, I should say, independence celebrations. It is important for us to really reflect on what Mr. Montut said regarding Calypso. Well, more specifically, what he said regarding the role of Calypsonians. He argued that Calypsonians should be talking about the government and be criticizing the government. That is not so. Cannot be so. As Dr. Hille said, Calypsonians do not have a responsibility nor a role to criticize government. Calypsonians have a responsibility, and they have had that for a long time, where they reflect what is happening in the society. Incidentally, there's every chance that Mr. Montut made that statement because he was not happy that Herb Black sang a song saying that what the people want from the opposition leader, Mr. Chasney, is not for him to be walking out of Parliament practically at every sitting of the House. Well, he did it often enough, walked out of the sitting of the House, that this became almost his trademark, if you wish. And because Herb Black sang that he didn't think that that is what the people wanted, Mr. Montut chastised him, and as a friend of mine wouldn't want me to say, excoriated him. So in other words, he gave him pluck. That is, Mr. Montut gave Herb Black pluck for talking or singing about the opposition, because in Mr. Montut's mind, Calypsonians should really only be talking about what the government is not doing well. We have to accept that Calypso has always had an impact and a profound impact on society in St. Lucia. Indeed, I have said before that very often significant changes in St. Lucia, in the Caribbean, have been influenced by what Calypsonians sing about. In fact, the famous Calypso, Dan is the Man in the Van, was very much responsible for changing the reading material that we had when we were growing up, so that some of us, obviously, some of you, I should say, would not have known anything about Danny the Man in the Van because you may have come around or come about. If you like, let's say under 60 or so, you probably would have come across, you would have been dealing with people like Nip and Fluff, Dolor and Dick. I think that was the name. That were the names of the main characters. But the reading material, Dan is a man in the van, to learn to see with two screws and so on. Mr. Mike rides to school on a bike. I can remember these things. I actually remember them because you didn't. You basically learned the thing, as I say, by heart. Right? It was rote learning. You knew it, and so you were not really reading. You were simply remembering what the thing said. But the point remains that after the Mighty Sparrow sang the song, there was the change. Now, I'm not going to fall into the trap of saying that it was changed because he sang the song. Clearly, we have to also note that songs that become popular, songs that reflect what is going on, also, while they influence how people behave and how people think, the songs also are influenced by how people are behaving. I want us to be clear on what I'm saying here. In other words, it is not that songs, it's not a one-way street. It is not that the songs always only, I should say, reflect what the society is doing. The songs also influence what the society is doing. I think the way I've said it there makes it simple. So the songs reflect what is going on in society, and the songs also influence what is going on in society. I will want to come back to that in a little while when we talk about the whole question of the violence and so on that's happening in St. Lucia. But in the meantime, I want to talk about a couple of things that are certainly influenced by Calypso. Number one, Calypso has a important and useful way of expressing what is cultural for people in St. Lucia and indeed in the Caribbean. By the way, I want us to recognize that St. Lucia shares a significant amount of its culture, of what is cultural to us, with the Caribbean. I mean, if you speak to somebody from Grenada, St. Vincent, Trinidad, Guyana, Jamaica, you will find that a lot of the history, a lot of the phrases, a lot of the ways we do things, we do them the same way. The kinds of foods we eat and so on. Of course, each island would have its own peculiarity. In fact, I mean, even in St. Lucia, different parts of St. Lucia, there are certain peculiarities about us based on where we come from in St. Lucia. But I think that by and large, the Caribbean culture, or the culture of the Caribbean people, is significantly similar. So when we look at our cultural expressions, the Calypso is a significant part of that. So that the Calypso will reflect not only the lifestyles of the rich and famous, it will also tell you about the sufferings of the poor. Indeed, in St. Lucia, we had almost a sort of a divide where some Calypsonians, at least one Calypsonian, was known as the Malawi King, Ashanti. So that clearly it would mean, or it would suggest, in fact, that his songs, his lyrics were more consistent and better reflected those persons who, according to our phrase, were bad away. But you cannot stop anybody from saying that calypso generally reflected us as a people. So when we look at some of our traditions, when we look at the history of the Caribbean, and as I mentioned, for example, the whole thing about the Dan is the man in the van thing, and you can take just about any of the calypsos, and you will find that there is something significant about it. You know, you have for example, Captain the Ship is Sinking from Trinidad, which was done by Gypsy. That song could literally be not. It wasn't not figuratively. It was literally planted into Saint Lucia because the UWP party in one of the rallies brought down Gypsy, and all he did was change the lyrics to say to use John Compton instead of, sorry, use the current the prime minister at the time, and he just changed the words from Chambers to Anthony, and the song fitted in, and then of course took out Trinidad and put Saint Lucia. So it shows that a lot of the cultural expressions that guide what we do in the Caribbean is regional. A lot of the things regional. So when we think about it, we see that the Caribbean have a diverse history where we have African, Indian, and European traditions, musical traditions, and calypso is able to go through and use all of those different traditions to express our culture. So that's one way that the calypso certainly influences and is influenced by our society. The second one, of course, is our politicians know that Calypsonians make social commentary. Indeed, that is precisely why Montut wanted the Calypsonians to focus on the government. Because we know that sometimes in deciding on dates for elections, you might not believe it, but sometimes in deciding the date for an election, politicians will take into account whether they want a calypso season to start before they call the election, because they know that when the Calypsonians begin to sing about the issues, the people will be sensitized, will be made aware. So you will find that whenever possible, elections will be as either before Calypso season or 3 or 4 months after the Calypso season, because they certainly do not want the influence of what the people have heard through the Calypso to influence how they will vote. But, the good thing, the interesting thing about the social commentaries that Calypsonians make is that they do it with such satire, with such wit, that it makes it look easy. So that we can make a joke about it. People can sit down and enjoy the lyrics, as they say. They make it accessible, meaning that the Calypsonians make some of the issues accessible to people in a very ordinary way. Because at the end of it all, as we know, when we have the opportunity to take medicine, or we have to deal with something that's negative, if it is done in a way that is if it is done in a way that is witty, people will better understand. We have a call on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Dolor.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, boy. I'm surprised you chose a topic like this. Great stuff.
You're surprised? But I guess, let me
Yes,
tell you.
great stuff.
Uh-huh.
All what you've been saying is true, but you're barely scraping the surface,
No,
Because
but
an important element of calypso, you haven't mentioned there, is carnival,
why you think that's an important component?
Yeah, because it goes hand in hand with steel band, one of the greatest discoveries from in the early days, and the sort of stigma that was associated with calypso and steel band, and how these guys were like virtually revolutionary in a sense that they came to the things you wouldn't hear or read you wouldn't hear on the news, mainstream news, or read on a newspaper. They are the ones you would rely to bring it to you. You understand? On not just politics. Calypso is now mainstream politics now because it has been boxed into that with the dismantling of calypso into soca, what you call it, power soca and groovy soca, where they took away the sweetness of the music from the calypso and make it just like a commentary stuff, which is, so you find right now most calypsonians, given the interest in I think the scope has been narrowed down to that. That's why you have this kind of political thing alone, and it becomes like the whole expectation, of calypso. But calypso is much more than that. Yes, my brother.
Yeah, but there's but wouldn't you think that there are some songs, for example, that go beyond the political thing? For example, one of the most popular songs for this year was Damn Proud Lucian.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what I'm showing you, so that we don't talk about the music, and what's really infectious there is the music. Now, before, calypso had all these elements, hence the emergence of people like Lord Kitchener. I mean, who could write calypso melody for steel band and dancing and things like that, modern thing,
Lord
the
Kitchener.
Kitchener,
Yeah.
and then you have, there are so many calypsonians who presented a different approach. Those who used to specialize in comedy, like the Pretender, they had Cypher, Funny, a host of them who represented comedy. Then you ever heard of the Mighty Duke?
Yeah, man. Mighty Duke actually won the Calypso Crown about 4 times,
Right, back to back.
Mhm.
And one of the years he won, he had that song, What is Calypso? So if you listen to that thing in simple terms, Mighty Duke will tell you, about how move along as it song, my friend, is true calypso. Because we bring you things you self does do. We bring you events of the day. Anybody business, we come right here and let you know. Move along as it song, my friend, is true calypso.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I mean, so the important thing is that these guys, we could go back to them, and the music is well documented. But the emergence of this, or the disaggregation of the whole breaking up of the whole calypso into different parts,
Genres.
has led to that, expectation that people would like to see, But the other thing is
But
that
hold on, you made you said something. Let me try and see if I can tie it up. You said that carnival is a very important component and relates to calypso. I would think that perhaps would carnival, let me ask a question, would carnival have been responsible for the movement away from the pure form of calypso, if we want to call it that, to some of the side genres like the soca and things so?
would Carnival have, yeah?
Would it have influenced it? In other words, the songs like you would hardly have found a song that is serious in terms of social commentary being road match. And so when we're looking at carnival and the need for a song that
No,
that has
yes,
a
no, but it's returning to that,
mm,
and things, because you see, society is dynamic, and people
yes,
change from generation to generation,
yes, yes,
and we
yes,
can't fight change.
yes,
What must be got to be. Now you find these youngsters, they're akin to, they're exposed to much high, different higher range of different cultures when it comes to music and so on and so forth, because of the telecommunications revolution
mm,
and all this sort of thing. So you find that they fuse in the music, and they come up with certain beats. Right now you have a beat they call world music, which has the African Afro beat, the calypso beat, the reggae beat. In fact, that it have a case of for everybody. So then you find that kind of element, and then, but we cannot uh, take out the calypso input into any form of, even reggae music has a lot of calypso styling in it. So it's interrelated. It's our stuff,
yes.
our
I
stuff,
think
and
I think there was somebody was making a point that you can't now say that calypso or reggae was belongs to any country, because the influences
exactly,
ha- the
exactly.
influences have been spread out
Well,
throughout.
well,
But
the thing
but
is,
yeah, but anyhow, we've gone past our time for the weather
the
news, and
thing
I
is,
and there are
but
people
in
who
closing,
came in for the
in
weather news.
closing,
So I will
in closing,
yeah. So we'll have
let
to.
me tell you that people want people to come and think their agenda. If they're seeing things that the government is not doing right or whatever, where the government is failing, they expect you to come to be the one that come and make them, look more. Yeah. So, but that's not what calypso is,
Yeah, well,
because you could come and sing also, you know, you could also come and sing of what the government doing good. That's thing,
yes.
So that's good, because you are a human being. You have your, you're like your side.
Yeah,
Everybody like Crow Crow. You won't tell Crow Crow come and sing and back the Indian party against the
yeah,
black party. You won't tell Chuck Dust and them and that. You understand?
yeah.
So that is where you have the political influence. You have to go back to your roots, who you are, what you are, and that is why you find you'll hardly find a song, a calypso, coming and
Praising government.
Calypsonians truly coming and support Mr. Shastney,
Yes,
because
yes,
it has
yes.
to do with we can't change these things.
You can't change that. You can't change that. I think Pele tried that one year, and then they practically
Yeah,
wave
yeah, people who try
and
it, sometimes the calypso is
yeah.
good, but
And
it's just not.
Pele was one of the better Calypsonians. But anyhow, like I said,
Exactly.
we need to take a break for the
Yeah,
weather.
yeah,
And
yeah. Take a break. Take a
yes,
break.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Bye bye. Yeah, so we now go on to get the weather news.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dolor. We're going to take a look now at the latest weather report, which is made possible with the compliments of Island Style Thailand Bath. I want to big up Suku as well. Suku, you saw me the last time and you said, I miss you and no longer. Well, you have me for the week, so make the best use of it. If there's any song you would like to hear, let me know so I could put it in the queue on my way out. Time now for the weather report, as I said, brought to you by Island Style Thailand Bath.
Island style. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, we'll have to make the right choice. Island style. Whoa. We got the time that will make you happy. Island style. Oh yeah. We make your dream come alive. In Island style.
We have tiles and insets, mixes and ground. Everything you need is on the house out. For the best price and the latest style. Take a little drive down to Island Style car.
We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, quality, price, service, choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Bellarosa, Rodney Bay, on the John Compton Highway, Cass Street, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewfort Highway. So call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style, Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style. This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
All right, and now time for the latest weather report. As of 12 noon today for the 25th of February 2025, the forecaster this hour is Dr. E. Francis. The forecast for St. Lucia valid for the next 24 hours. The winds will be blowing between the southeast and the east near 18 miles per hour or 30 kilometers per hour. The weather, fair to partly cloudy skies with a few light showers. Again, the winds blowing from or between the southeast and the east near 18 miles per hour or 30 kilometers per hour with the weather, fair to partly cloudy skies with a few light showers. Now for the marine forecast for seas in a 25-mile or 40-kilometer radius from St. Lucia. For the Castries Harbor, presently we are experiencing high tide. The low tide will be at 23 minutes before 9 tonight. And the VFOB's high tide will be at 5 minutes before 3 this afternoon. And the low tide will be at 4 minutes after 10 tonight. The seas are moderate to locally rough. The waves and easterly swells are 5 to 7 feet, the same as 1.5 to 2.1 meters in open waters. So small craft operators and seabathers, there's an advisory out for you. You should exercise caution, and that is due to above normal seas. So please be guided. So again, the marine forecast for the Castries Harbor, the high tide, made a mistake there with that one because the high tide will be in a couple of minutes time. So we're experiencing the high tide around 12 minutes before 2 this afternoon, and the low tide for the Castries Harbor will be at 23 minutes before 9 tonight, and the VFOB is high tide at 5 minutes before 3 this afternoon, and the low tide at 4 minutes after 10 tonight. And again, the seas moderate to locally rough with waves up to 7 feet in open waters, and the small craft operators and seabathers advisory to exercise caution due to above normal seas. For the Lesser Antilles, it's fair to partly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers, and the weather summary indicates the Atlantic high pressure system will continue to generate moderate easterly winds and above normal seas across the Eastern Caribbean during the next few days. And patches of low-level cloud drifting along with the wind flow will produce a few scattered showers over parts of the region during the next 24 hours. That's the official weather report. Again, don't forget, there's an advisory for small craft operators and seabathers to exercise caution due to above normal seas. Thank you very much, Dr. Francis, for the update at this time. Our next official update from the Met Service will be due on this station in the morning together with Iowa, so make sure you tune in then. The weather was made possible by Island Style Thailand Bath.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Island Style. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, we'll have to make the right choice. Island Style. Whoa. We got the time that will make you happy. Island Style. Oh yeah. We make your dream come alive. In Island Style.
We have tiles Ranking sets, pieces and ground. Everything you need is on the house out. For the best price and the latest style. Take a little drive down to Island Style car.
We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, quality rice, service choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Bellarosa, Rodney Bay, on the John Crompton Highway, Cass Street, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewfort Highway. Call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style, Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
You're back in the lunchroom with Urban Dolor, and I'm sitting in for Calix George Jr. We had a conversation with one of our famous, well-known callers who spoke about the whole interaction between Carnival and Calypso. And indeed, we must make this point and re-emphasize it, that Carnival is one opportunity for persons or people to come together to discuss major issues, major cultural issues, major social and political issues. And in the mix of it all was always Calypso serving as sort of like further energy and so on for these carnival camps and the tents and all of those things were significant opportunities for people to come together. Now, because we're talking about Calypso, you expect me to play a couple of clips around there. So we will now listen to a clip, a little bit of a song from Moggy. I will talk a little more about it after we read it.
I wasn't going to say nothing, but everywhere I pass in, you should hear what some people say. They say all the years you singing, politicians you lambasting. Now when the tent, your voice went silent. From the time man came in power, everything on hold till St. Lucia. But it was Kenny, you run your mouth already. Boy, the people mad, some of them sad, they in pain. That's why I can't stay quiet again. When I hear $2.6 billion, I hear China will take over. The guy in charge of all the money that we're getting from foreign countries. To be a citizen of St. Lucia, passport come cheap like toilet paper. I was afraid of the dark, so you bring the flag over. We still pass a don't really swear.
I wasn't interested about this clip. Is that Moggy is actually singing about people telling him that he's not doing what he used to do before, because he was well, again, we have to always understand these things and the history and in a sense in the camps. Let's face it. We have to face it. Lord help me is not likely to say, Lord help me is not likely to write a song against Labour. When Labour is in power, just like Mighty Gabi at one time in Barbados, when DLP was in power, you have trouble writing song because he don't want to sing any song against the government. Moggy was traditionally a writer, a singer, who did songs against Labour. So when UWP was in power now, people telling him, but Moggy, you're not singing again. Before you used to lambast politicians. But Moggy, for some reason, found that UWP was doing too many things that are against his conscience. So he decided, listen, he afraid. Now, Mwepe, we have to know the history. We have to understand what's going on. Because you may recall that in the election before he wrote that song, Flabo's byline or the slogan was Yope, right? So Mogi came back and said, okay, we want pay, pour vous, puisque c'est cultivé, ils ont fait la Mope. So yeah, so I think this it was useful that Mogi came out and he said, listen, I have to come back, and when I see those kinds of things that are happening, I have to come back. I've always wondered who wrote that song for Mogi. Maybe somebody who knows can call in. And of course, the number to call if you're interested, if you want to share any experience as it relates to the society in St. Lucia, is 452-3046. And by WhatsApp, the WhatsApp number is 758-724-008. So I've spoken about some of the reasons that Calypso is so important to the society. We spoke about the fact that it is part and parcel of the unity in the community. It also provides opportunity for social commentary. It provides opportunity for cultural expression. So we also, incidentally, we have to also be mindful that not only has Calypso sort of given birth to other genres such as soca and so on, but Calypso has also had some significant impact on pop culture, pop music, regular pop music. Of course, we would have known that one of the most famous ones would have been Rum and Coca-Cola. And I mentioned that Rum and Coca-Cola song primarily because that song, which of course was written by a Trinidad, and I forget his name now, but a lot of people don't realize that song, that song was actually lamenting the fact, was showing how sad it was that Yankees, Americans came to Trinidad and messed up the whole social fabric of Trinidad. So that while the Rum and Coca-Cola was in vogue, also alongside with that was that mothers and daughters were actually caught up in the whole spree. Now, if you take that song and you just listen to it, you don't listen to the undertones of the song, or you listen carefully, you don't realize that is what is being said, right? In fact, that song is very similar to the very famous song from Sparrow called Gin and Diner. Rosita and Clementina, I think it was. But Sparrow was singing and talking about prostitution and how the cost went down, according to him, right, after the Yankees gone. Yeah. But both of them are actually relating to prostitution and so on in Trinidad, and how the life in Trinidad was changed. I imagine in St. Lucia as well. I mean, maybe we don't have the calypsos and so to show that. We have a call on the line. Let me take it. Let me hear what's being said. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Right. Well, I used to be a regular caller with Mr. Colleague George, but I tried this session for a couple of days, and I know he was out because I couldn't get through. But that topic you talking about there, to me, that was an insult to a country.
What topic? What topic?
Rum and Coca-Cola.
Oh,
it goes
okay.
like that. Rum and Coca-Cola, rum and Pepsi Cola, rum and Coca-Cola,
Mother and daughter fighting for the Yankee dollar.
Exactly. Mother and daughter. I mean, you have it. I getting goosebumps here because you know the song. Mother and daughter fighting for the Yankee dollar. Yeah, but go ahead. I know I shouldn't cut you. I shouldn't say anything. Just let you talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, to me, that's and that time they used to call the Yankee dollar the green back or green note, something like that.
Greenback. Uh-huh.
Yeah, greenback.
Yeah.
That's it. And I always look at that as an insult to the people of that country.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking is Cuba. Most of the time I thought that song was come out from Cuba. But now I heard you say from Trinidad.
No, it's Trinidad.
It's Trinidad.
Yeah.
Well, I am a Trinidad citizen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I find that is rude, although calypso is something, is to tell what you say it as you say it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of calypso is to say it as you say it. But that time there I was a little boy anyway when I used to have people singing that song. But
you're saying that even as a little boy, you had a difficulty with talking about how mothers and daughters fighting for Yankee dollar.
Yeah, definitely, and I grew with that in me. That's an insult. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. But I can tell you that there are not very many people who would have picked up that that undertone. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
And one of the reasons that people may have difficulty picking up the subtle undertone message in calypso. We have another call. Let's take it. Hello. Good afternoon. You on the air?
Yeah. Sorry for doing that. It's me again because my friend requests me. I request that I gave her my request. Maureen.
Yes, you have access to everything in here. So go ahead, give her your request.
That song was written and sung by Roaring Lion. Roaring Lion.
Go ahead, Roaring Lion. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which song? You mean the Roman Coca-Cola?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I want to say quickly something about the man of the moment, which is Face Calix. He's thoroughly deserving of the accolades, whatever.
Yeah.
It's long overdue.
Okay.
This man has contributed, humongously, to calypso over the years.
Yes, man.
How many years?
I think Mid must be one of the most prolific writers. I think maybe
Absolutely.
after Pele, maybe even before Pele, but to me,
more.
You think it's more? Okay, well,
Yes,
I couldn't argue that. I really couldn't argue
Because
that.
he writes for
A number of people.
children, you just name it. This man will tell you anybody. He check your ability, your range, everything.
Uh-huh.
He have a song for you.
So, but you never try singing calypso, eh?
Who?
You.
No, I write calypso.
Oh, you write calypso because I did troubling you. You see, I did troubling you, and it's a kind of pick on I wanted to put on you there, but because I remember one time and
I've been writing calypso from 1982.
Okay, I remember one of the things you said. You may not even remember you said that, but when Hope Black came out with the song Suzette, you said, "Listen, you ain't see no reason why Hope Black can just change the rhythm of the song and go for every competition, go for groovy, go for power, go for regular calypso."
Yes.
Let me tell you, I will never forget you on that comment. Yeah, okay.
He actually got two, He got the groovy.
Yes.
And he got
the one calypso crown that year. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he didn't participate in the power.
Yeah, but when you think of Hope Black and you think of some of his songs, I mean, like I'm talking about social commentary, I'm talking about singing for the man on the street and so on. A song like One Day's Work. Listen, that's a classic,
Yeah, but that's why Hope Black singing these kind of songs, and it's just a natural instinct of his alignment as a Rasta man. to support these kind of things.
So you don't think he had the alignment first and then he became Rasta?
Well, I mean, we are what we are.
Yeah, I just
Rasta
troubling
from
you,
creation.
Suku. I just troubling you.
Like Brother Bubble say, Rasta from creation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
don't become that. You are. That's what you are. You just blossom.
Yes.
But the man of the moment, I think, I think one of the best calypsos to me ever written and done in St. Lucia is Letla, written by Fist Calix.
That's the one done by Educator.
Written, yeah.
Yeah, written by Calix, but I know it it was Educator who sang it.
Yeah, Educator sang it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean to incorporate our language into the art, into calypso rhythms so expertly.
Yeah.
I mean
yeah.
that's just that song. Oh man, that song. Anytime I hear it, I goose pimples.
Yeah, and I think some of the phrasing in that song, if you didn't know what he was talking about, you would know. For example, when he used the phrase "papote como toca pisca official custom kame." I mean,
Yeah, customs come in.
Yes, I mean, like, if you don't understand what's going on, you realize what he's saying is that it's thief they thieving.
Ils sont contents de tenir don. Il y a les tout ça qui était bon.
Qui était bon, oui.
Qui m'ont dit
qu'après dire, tu as dit non pour.
I would ask my friend to play for me after your show.
Which one?
Marine. Letla.
I don't know if you go. Yeah, okay. Well, Marine has you associated.
Marine will get that, man.
Then that's easy to get on the internet. Yeah.
That's one of the greatest for me creations.
Okay.
Letla, Fiscalix, and congrats, my brother. You well deserving.
Okay then, because this song almost finished because your fellas make me forget what I have to do. Anyhow, but that's all good. That's all good. But listen, I really wanted to talk a little bit about this double entendre thing. One of the and the reason I was making the point that the reason Calypsonians had to use double entendre was because part of the Calypso tradition was that they needed to say things among themselves that the powers that be didn't understand. So when they, for example, as we just mentioned, when the term is said, customs coming, you can't really take anybody to task if you don't know what's going on. And one of the songs that I think was classic double entendre was the Speaker in the House, which was by Invader. And I want for you to listen to just one verse in that, and I will see how many of the double entendres you could actually pick up, because there's so many in that just one verse. Yeah, so.
Everyone came to one conclusion. Well, everybody shouting, move the speaker from the house. 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 But the speaker keeps coming through. What the speaker jamming?
I really don't need to. I really don't need to tell you and spell it out because after all, like we've been saying, double entendre means that if you don't pick it up, if you don't know it, you don't know it. I don't have to come and explain it to you. So you hear him talk about the speaker jamming and some happy, some gay. He talk about the speaker itself. What he talking about? The speaker is a speaker. Making music. Having a party in the house. Would it have been a party, regular party, or would it have been a political party that's in the house, meaning the House of Representatives? That song is just so rich, in the use of double entendre. So I also wanted to, and I will just touch on the whole question of the use of sobriquets, because Calypsonians, at least in the past, used the sobriquet. The sobriquet. Let me see what it means. Meaning that you don't come out with your actual name. You come with a name that, and in fact, those names were carefully chosen. Sometimes it may come out of some joke or something, but very often the names were meant to send out, give a person a persona. It's like you have somebody come as Mighty Terror. And if you're Mighty Terror, people are supposed to be afraid of you and so on. And that was another important aspect of the Calypso that I didn't have an opportunity to go into. But I don't have a problem in that, because at the end of it all, I think the show is supposed to be determined by the callers, let them speak on the various issues instead of me just having a monologue. So this was we were in the lunchroom this afternoon talking about Calypso, and in fact, I wanted to speak something a little bit on other aspects of music and how that influences the society. For example, in relation to some of the violence that's happening, but there can always be some other time when we can look at that, and as we continue understanding some of the things that's happening in our society. So you have been in the lunchroom for the afternoon, and I expect that very soon we will get one of the Calypsos that were requested by our special caller, Suku, and we'll take it from there.
And indeed, 4 minutes now after the hour of 2 o'clock, and a wrap on the lunchroom. Of course, tomorrow, God's willing, same time from 1. Definitely can tune in again for another lunchroom. That has also brought me to the end of my stay in your company for today. And God's willing, I'll be back tomorrow, same time from 11 in the morning. Stay tuned though. Up next, Play is going to be coming through. Him and I think Play and Flex is going to be coming through, having some fun with you in this afternoon time again. Up next is a digital half hour.
The future of communication is here. Say hello to eSIM at Digicel. Use your Digicel number without a physical SIM card in your phone, and your data, minutes, and SMS all there. eSIM works with prepaid and postpaid. Activate more than one eSIM on the same device and use multiple phone numbers without a physical SIM card. Convert your existing number for only $10. Switch to Digicel and get a free eSIM, free 30-day plan, and 30 gigabytes data free. Digicel, first to give you eSIM technology in St. Lucia. Available at any Digicel store. Digicel, better connected.